Hello and welcome to the second episode of the series where I'll be doing squad reviews and letting you know on what areas of the game you should be improving on. And if you want the chance to be reviewed in future videos, then make sure to leave your in-game ID in the comments and what area of the game you want to improve on. And again, just to be clear, you have to answer both these questions to be featured in future episodes. Within this video, I'll be giving you a maximum of 3 tips per person, and these tips will depend on what area of the game you would like to improve on. Some people might want more than 3 tips, but I find this is a good amount to keep the video moving along and helping you out enough at the same time. Now, if you do get featured today, then you won't be featured in the next episode, as I want to make sure a variety of people get seen. So if you don't see yourself, then always make sure to leave a comment and hope for the next time. And just so you're all aware, I am looking to be doing these sorts of videos about once a month. Right, let's dive into the first squad then, and starting off, we'll be having a look at this one here. This person would like to improve in their arenas, and they feel like they're losing to most players. This can be the feeling for most people, but I'll still give my advice the best I can. Firstly, which I'd say is the most immediate thing to do, and that's to really focus on building 6-piece fighters. Not only do you have an 8-man squad, but you only have one 6-piece set, and this isn't to be insulting, it's just the most obvious reason to why you'll be losing a lot. So here's what I would do from here. I would actually focus on building the Incinerator to a 6-piece first, as they do have great team fighting abilities. I would then make the Fat Man into a Dragonborn combo with most likely a Paladin set. And this is because the Dragonborn is still right now one of the highest damaging fighters out there, but a 4-piece combo will still be enough to do well. This will do for in terms of sets, as this will take a long time to do, but the sets will also work for my next tip, which is to organise your squad just a little. If you follow my plan with the sets and on who, I'd recommend moving your mage items to the newbie fighter, as they have a legendary mage talent currently not in use. And since legendaries are hard to come by, you will want to use it for now at least, since you already own it. And this fighter has the least going for it in terms of set items. Also, with organising, just like in my last video, I would move the totem off your oracle to whoever becomes your Dragonborn if you choose to go that route, as not only will plain damage not work on a mage, giving you false power, this totem can work perfectly on your Dragonborn for its damage and protection. This will be enough for now, and there are more things that you can do, but if you follow these tips, I promise you'll see some good results in the months to come. Now let's move on to the second person of the day, and this person would like me to advise them on how to get more power on their hero. But as we all know, that's normally either through the dungeon or paying through offers for money, and since there's not much more we can do about that, I will be tweaking my advice to still improve your hero and situation. Now let's start off with the simplest tip. What I'd recommend to do is to find someone, or ideally 2 people that are in your clan, to do dungeons with rather than looking for random people. This way you can improve your dungeon run times in terms of speed and normally how far you can get. If nobody wants to be doing dungeons with you though, and you do have 2 accounts, then what you can do is use 2 different devices at the same time and just do dungeons that way. And although that can feel tedious, this does mean that you can go into dungeons straight away without having to wait for anyone. The next tip I would give is to not waste your constellation points on certain relics or talents. For example, if you don't plan to use the Happy Archer token in the near future, then don't upgrade it for the sake of it, and only spend your constellation points on things that you will use. This will speed up your hero's actual progress that's useful to you, but also make your team more powerful quicker than usual. The things to avoid upgrading would be Fortitude, Porcupine, Wild Magic and Trickster. These talents aren't bad as such, but also don't hold much value against other types of talents that you should be at least focusing on first. The last tip I have for your situation is if you don't have a lot of time to do with your dungeons, then what I would do is wait for the DICE events. And as an example, you can have a look at my video on the wonderful Molopoly event back in June. And since it's been such a long time, we can almost expect this event to be coming back around soon. If you're liking this sort of content, it's always a great indicator for me to look at how many likes a video has, so please click that like button if you're enjoying the video so far, and consider subscribing, especially if you're hoping to get your squad featured in the future. The last person we'll be looking at today is this one here. They want to know how to improve their squad to beat people that are 2 to 3 million more in power, so let's take a look. For anyone that is from room 9 or above, I always have a look at their heroes first to see what they're working with. And similar to someone in the previous episode, this hero is looking very good. They've got all of their passive talents maxed out, and that goes the same for the relics, except for the 2 newer flags which won't matter in battle. So apart from keep going with your hero stars, there's nothing else left here to do. So the next best place to look is at your squad, and because you have a really good squad power already, I'm going to be a bit specific on what things you can do for your situation. Firstly, the thing I would try and sort out first would be your Incinerator's main weapon. What you can do is break down this item to get back 7 essences and rebuild the item again. I'm sure you already know the next part, but I'll say it for the others listening. Every time you destroy an ancient item and make the exact same item again, the item will always gain more base stats, up to 90% of the maximum stats. So in this case, this weapon is a really strong weapon against any team, but the weapon itself is on the lower end of the spectrum and you have roughly 34,000 more damage headroom if you were to keep rebuilding it. And at the same time, it would be ideal for the weapon to end on a gem that was spell power rather than magic damage. The next item to look at with the same regards will be your Dragonborn's main weapon. Another thing people might not know, but damage and spell power gems on the main weapon can actually increase the damage per second of the weapon stats. So this can become misleading, and if you have a look between these two screenshots here, you can see my weapon's damage per second stats are different, but only because of the gems equipped. So in your case, the weapon is actually around 34,875, and not only does that mean there's a little more headroom, you also have the chance to increase its base abilities up to 100%. And since this wasn't going to be a game-changing improvement, what you can also do is look out for this soul here for the Dragonborn. Yours is fine with increasing its damage, but since the Dragonborn always hits many crits in battle, this other soul here will serve you much better, so just keep an eye out for it in the arena store. Now, because you have a very strong squad, I would recommend to go for ancients when possible, but only on certain fighters, like damage gems on your Dragonborn, spell power on your Incinerator, and that's because of the weapon it's holding, and health gems on your Executioner. And you want ancient health gems on your Executioner because of its legendary talent, where they take 35% of the damage instead of the ally with the lowest health. And increasing the health will also improve the effectiveness of the ring, which will again help keep him alive and others. So that's all the tips for everyone's squads here today. If you thought there was something I missed or you thought there was a better tip to give, then make sure to leave your comments below and what ID that it should be for. And here's one last tip that everyone needs to pay attention to, and that's because I can't visibly see it yet. And that's to do with your specializations. You will want everyone in your squad to be at least level 3 minimal and ideally level 5 or above when you get the time. The abilities they bring to your team are amazing and are normally overlooked, so just keep working on this area of your game. And again, like the video if you want to see more of these in the future, and get subscribed if you want to see yourself get featured next, and obviously not miss the video. Anyways, thank you for watching, and if you haven't seen it yet, I'd really appreciate it for you to check out my Plague Tale series that I've just started recently if you enjoy story-rich games like I do. And I hope to see you all in future videos, whether that's Hustle Castle or the A Plague series.